To maximize what you're making in sales, you have to get good at overcoming objections and getting people across the line, especially the A-types who actually have the money. Now, I'm Christian Polk. I've closed over $8 million in deals and got to over $60,000 per month in straight commissions, not selling sales training. And the way I was able to do it is because I got really good at dealing with difficult A-type prospects, handling their objections, and actually getting them across the line. So in this video, I'll be giving you 3 different role plays where I run through actually how to deal with A-type personalities and actually close them. And this is the exact skill that I taught Nathan here to get him to the point where he's making more than everyone else on his team while working less hours, and how I helped Daniel go from making $5,000 in a month to $5,000 in a day. So if you pay attention and you master this, it'll make you a ton of money. Let's go ahead and dive into it.
Yeah, I had a call I had yesterday. I just wanted to be the dude, that just throw in these bullshit objections and just have you go through the process. I've kind of reviewed it myself, and I feel like there was some discovery things that I definitely should have called out that would have helped a lot more with authority. And then just it was kind of like a death by a thousand cuts, just letting these things slide allowed him to be this behavior. And yeah, anyway. So I just wanted to kind of go through because it was a mixture of 3 different objections, and yeah, I just wanted to kind of get the right way to do it.
Okay, cool. So, and then for everyone, so you're helping contractors scale their business, all that fun stuff. What was the information on this guy? Where is he at? Where is he looking to go? Why?
So at the moment, it was a bit of an odd one. There's these people called qualifiers. So he's fully qualified, but then there's people that aren't fully qualified, but they use him as a name on the business, and then they can just run the company. So he kind of just is an advisor, but then the other people run the company. He's got 5 companies that he does that for. But the reality is pretty much none of them are making money. Because there was just a recent example 2 weeks ago where he went negative, had to put personal money into the account. So he's going through stress at home and stuff with his wife. He's got 3 kids under 15 or something. So that's and he's doing no service. He's read the book and he's service is exactly what we should be doing because there's a lot more money. He's doing these big projects.
So he's wanting to transition into a different type of business model to actually start making money because he's making that. Cool.
Yeah. And big cash flow issues. He's owed $100K from all these jobs and shit.
Yeah. Could be an issue.
Not ideal.
It's okay. So the investment to go ahead and get started to make sure we can actually get in the green, start making the money we're looking to be making is going to be 10,000. After that, the next step's pretty basic. Get you set up with an onboarding. That way we can really get this thing all rocking and rolling and really structure everything out. Any questions on how that works?
9,800. Okay. Is there ways to just break that up straight away?
But potentially it's going to depend on what works best for you. I guess, is there any particular reason why you ask?
Yeah, it's just 9,800 up front, just after just chatting for 30 minutes, just seems okay, you're asking a lot, straight off the bat, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're talking for 2 hours, would that make 9,800 a different amount?
No, not really.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Probably not. Probably not. No, I'm just messing with you, man. But if we, because we could figure the money piece out, man. The money is the easiest part of this entire situation. So if we put the money aside for a second, is this something we would actually want to do?
Yeah, definitely. Probably bring it to my partners and see kind of where they're at with it.
But again, it doesn't even make much sense to talk to your partner about this if the number doesn't make sense and this isn't something you want to do. Right. So for you, if we just put the money aside for a second, is this something you'd actually want to do?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Services cash cow.
Why would you do it though?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is the amount of money that you guys are showing in your book in the video that you're gonna be making on the services is insane. So I'm thinking far out, I need to have a piece of that.
Yeah, but for you, because kind of take us out of it. Why would you actually want to invest in yourself in the business to make more money? Because that's a real important why.
Well, yeah, man, we were talking earlier about just reducing the stress and actually having, the wife being able to take her on vacations without worrying about the business. And yeah, that's, a big part of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I can definitely understand like where you're coming from, right? Like worrying about the money or it being a lot. But can I make a suggestion around that?
Yeah, for what's up?
Yeah, because like ultimately, man, if we had the business where it needed to be, we're actually making a profit we needed to be, would you be stressed out and worried about the money?
Nah, of course not,
Yeah,
man.
of course not, right? Like that's why we're here. So the question I have to ask is, how are we ever going to get to the point where it's like 9,800 isn't stressful or we're not worrying about that if we never actually invest in the business? How are we going to get there?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's gonna take longer, or maybe it's not gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And because how long have we been in this cycle where for you, like 9,800 is a lot of money?
Um, like up and down and stuff like that, but like
Hmm.
probably thinking about doing service for what, 3 years now, and
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So I got to ask, do we want to change that?
yeah, of course, man. That's why we're here.
Yeah, it's not so obvious, right? Because we're having to have the conversation. So be real with me, man. Like what happens if we don't change it though? Because we've been in our situation for the past 3 years looking to get out of it. What if that just continues another 6 months, another year, and we don't do anything about this?
Well, man, like it's not gonna be too bad. Like I got my businesses, like still
Yeah.
eat, like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
nothing
hold on,
crazy.
man. There is something you could do about it. That's what we're talking about. So it's like be real with me, because like ultimately, us staying still and us not changing, like that is a choice. So I do have to ask, like, what happens if we choose to just keep doing what we have done for the past 3 years? Like, what happens if we keep choosing that route?
Choose that route, like yeah, just like more of the same, just
Hmm.
doing these
And
projects, but like owed money.
some people are fine with like more of the same, man. Like be real with me, man. Like, what would be the actual day-to-day ramifications for you if a year from now we're still in this exact same situation where we're stressed about the money? Okay. Our wife can't go on vacations and we're dealing with the exact same problems we're dealing with now. Like, what are the actual day-to-day ramifications of that?
Yeah, just more stress, which feels like crap, and just
Mhm.
like hoping that I wishing I could have done the service side.
Yeah. So I got to ask, man, are we going to allow ourselves to continue to go down that path? Because it is a choice.
Nah, I'm not going to allow myself to do it, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
And it's
this, that's
like,
for
and,
sure.
and absolutely, man. And I'm glad we're on the same page with that because like the money is the easy part. We can figure that part out. Like the hardest part is just committing to change. Just like kind of sticking your flag down and saying like, "Hey, I'm no longer okay with this." So are you at that point where you're actually committed to change, committed to actually doing what it takes?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I'm gonna do
Okay.
service, like that's for sure.
Yeah, and so when it comes to us doing service, just to see how we can actually help, right? Don't let's not talk about what we can't do. We'll be here all day. Let's talk about what we can do. Bills expenses aside, what are you actually working with right now that you can invest in yourself to make sure we can actually get into the service side and actually start making the money we need to be making?
Yeah, I mean, like if we could do if we could pay it off like over a longer period of time, like I can just do 2K like right now, and then
Okay.
4 more payments of 2K, and we're there, we're
Yeah,
set. Like
yeah, generally it's a little bit further than what we can do, right? But if you work with me, I can work with you. Okay. What do you actually have that is available to you that you could put towards this?
I mean, I got the money. Like the money's not an issue. It's just like you're asking a lot,
Hmm.
Like I just met you. Like I don't know if this is actually something that like even legit. Like I haven't done my research,
Yeah,
man. Like
yeah, and it's like, and
yeah,
we can figure that part out, right? But like you're saying, we're asking for a lot, but we're also asking for a lot in terms of our outcomes, right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so won't it make sense if we're looking for a lot in terms of outcomes, we got to put a lot in terms of our inputs, right?
Yeah, that makes
So what
sense.
what what we're doing here makes sense. So I have to ask, like, can you do the 9,800? And that's not going to put you in a tough position to where it's like, hey, we're having to take the light out of the fridge.
Yeah, well, it'd be a stretch, but I mean, like, I don't know how to like. I'd like probably do like 4 or 5K, and like we're not in a tough
Okay.
spot. super tough.
Okay. Well, here's what I could do for you, man. Because, like, dude, I'm not in the business of putting people out in the street. Okay. So if you can do five, all right, what we can do is we can split it up into two payments 5,000 now, and then you're going to come in, or you're going to do the work that we tell you, and then 5,000 30 days from now. Okay. By then, the program should be paying for itself, even in the first 30 days. Is that something you can commit to?
Yeah, like financially commit to that. I'm thinking maybe you get me one of my business partners to pay for it. Because then maybe, you know what, maybe he
Yeah.
just would just up front tomorrow. Like that could work.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Can I share a perspective on that, man?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, more people we add into this situation only complicates the process. Okay? Nobody is going to come and nobody is going to save us. Because ultimately, who is responsible, whether or not you make money in this business and you provide for your family?
Yeah, it's my responsibility. But, you know, like I've
Yeah.
always got partners, right? I've got these five businesses, I've
Yeah.
got
And it's
partners.
like, and I appreciate we have partners, but anytime we take that responsibility and then we put it outside of ourselves, now we're leaving, right, our business fate to somebody else. Okay. And on some level, isn't that why you're here? Because that's what we have been doing.
Yeah, that's right.
So, how is doubling down and doing more of the same that led you here going to get us out of this situation?
Yeah, it's probably not.
Right. And it's like, and I appreciate you being open about that. Right. Because, like, the same level of thinking that got us to this situation is not going to be the same level of thinking that's going to get us out of it. So, it comes down to you, like, what type of person do you want to be right now? Do you want to be the person who keeps making decisions like we've always had, get the same type of decisions and same type of outcomes? Or are we going to step into the person who we truly need to be, get this business up and going, actually get profitable? So that way, dude, I never want to hear out of your mouth again that you're stressed and you're worried about things. Okay. What person would you rather be?
Yeah, obviously the second one, right?
Well, it's not so obvious. Like, why would you want to be the second one?
So then I'm not stressed about money and, you know, can actually build the business I want. And yeah,
Yeah. But it's like, and saying that out loud is easier said than done. Most people, they continue to double down on the things they've always done. Okay. So for
mm.
you, like, what happens if we continue to double down on the way that we have been doing things? And we never break out of this cycle of being stressed about money and being worried about just bills and what things are happening. What happens if this cycle continues?
If the cycle continues, I'm just going to be more stressed and like, wife's not going to be happy. I'm not going to be as happy. And we're just going to be stuck in
Yeah.
the same spot.
Well, how much more stress do you feel like your body can take, dude? Be real with me.
What am I now? I'm 44. Like, you know, I want to be living it up free by like 60. Like, I don't want to be working much longer than that.
Yeah. So it comes down to, man, like, what do we need to do to make sure we actually get out of this cycle and we get out of that stress, we get out of that worry, and we actually get on the right path? What do we need to do?
Yeah, man, this all sounds really great. Like, my biggest thing, man, is
Like,
just
hey,
like,
hey, we're not talking about like what sounds great. We're talking about what we need to do. Breaking my flow, bro. No, it's all good. So we're not talking about like what sounds great. We're talking about like what we need to do. So it's like, be real with me, man. Like, what do we actually need to do to make sure we get out of this situation?
yeah, we need to, get into the service and like back myself in.
Yeah. And when it comes down to it, man, right? Do you feel like we're in a position where it's like, hey, we finally have had enough pain to where we're willing to do that and we're willing to break out?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So the next steps are pretty simple then. We'll go ahead, we'll process the five, get you set up with the onboarding. And what I need from you is I need you to come in and you actually put in the work like we were talking about. So that way, in 3 months' time, we're not talking about how you're stressed and you're worried. We're talking about how are you going to pay all these taxes from all this money you're making. Is that something you're willing to do?
Look, man, I am willing
Mhm.
to do this. Only thing I haven't done, like I haven't looked you guys up. Like I always
Mhm.
check my stuff, make sure everyone's legit. Like I haven't looked you guys up. I
Yeah.
don't know this is legit. You know, you're in Australia, I'm in Miami over here. Like, man, you know there's fucking
Yeah.
scammers out there, man. Like this could be a load of shit. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds good. and I want to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, we're talking about like a load of shit. Would you see like all the different testimonials and all the reviews, all that stuff? Like, does that typically happen when where you're scamming people? Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Well, you tell me, right? In terms of businesses online, how long do you feel like somebody can actually scam people? Especially when information is free and all it takes is one person to go to Reddit and the whole business gets their reputation ruined. Like how long do you feel like somebody can actually scam you?
Yeah, probably 6 months, and then they probably go under.
Yeah, so it's like just by like math, right? Like we're already past that point in terms of our business. But let's just even say like we weren't, man. No matter what you're looking for on the internet, like you will definitely find it. There are one-star reviews of puppies out there, all right? So it just comes down to whatever you're looking for right now in this situation, all you're going to do is you're going to reconfirm the stuff you already want to see and the stuff you already want to hear. So are you looking for reasons not to do this and to give yourself an excuse, or are you actually looking for reasons to do this and bet on yourself?
Yeah, I'm looking for reasons to do this, but like,
Like why are you looking for reasons to do it though?
because I need the service side, and like I want to get the cash going and not be fucking owed 100 grand, you know?
Yeah, and when it comes down to it, man, like on some level, we're never going to actually know until we do it. Till we actually go in, you actually start seeing the money coming in for your business. I can send you thousands of other people who are raking in the dough, but that doesn't prove that it'll work for you specifically. What's the only way you're going to know if this works for you specifically or not?
As if I do it.
As you do it. On some level, that like we have to take the leap in order to do that. So what do you feel like is actually holding you back from taking that leap and betting on yourself?
I guess just worry that like I could be scammed or like it couldn't work for me, and
Yeah,
then it's just going to be a waste.
yeah. Man. If you weren't a little bit worried right now, man, that means like I'd have to check your pulse like you're not human. Because like on some level, when you really think about it, who do you know who grows inside their comfort zone?
Don't know anyone.
Yeah, exactly right. So the fact that this is a bit uncomfortable, it means that we're on the right track. Because it means like we actually have the ability to grow. If you're cool as a cucumber, man, that means we're not talking about anything important. So this feeling you have right now, it's not going to change. It's not going to go away. All we get to do is we get to decide what we do with this feeling. Okay. Because we have two options. Like, number one, we can just allow it to constrict us. We keep going down the same path that we always had. And like, hey, some people do that their entire life. The second option is we shape this feeling and we shape it into taking massive action. So we put some skin in the game, we come in and we make this work. Which one would you rather do? Allow it to constrict you or shape it into taking massive action?
Yeah, shape it to take massive action.
Why? Why shape it though?
Because it's been thinking about it for 3 years and been letting it,
Yeah.
I guess, constrict me for that long. Like that's long enough.
Yeah. I do have to ask though, like, what if we continue to allow it to constrict us? Because most people do that their entire life.
And then nothing's going to change, and it's just going to be more of the same shit.
Yeah. So it's like ultimately, man, I'm here for you. I don't want you to go through the same stuff you have been that led you to this call. So what do we need to do to make sure we get out of our situation and we actually start making the money and relieve the stress?
Ah, fuck it, let's do it. I'll stop being a
Hell
little
yeah, bro.
bitch.
Give me all your money, bro. Um, cool.
Yeah.
When other people laugh, it throws me off my groove. I'm like, oh shit. Um, so again, like first and foremost, in terms of like that's just basically the framework. Now, I put my
Yeah.
own little spin or like I make it a bit more conversational than like what's in the actual just word tracks. But all that really was is handling money, handling I need to talk to other people or like see testimonials, and then handling like the first view reframe. That's all that was. And if you notice,
Yeah.
like throughout the conversation, like again, I wrote it down: stress, worry, wife vacations, 3 years. So if you notice, like every single frame, I added a little bit of that in. So even
Mhm.
though like you guys can see the actual word tracks, right? Like I said it word for word, bar for bar. But it sounds custom to you because I'm like, okay, so you no longer have to stress and worry and your wife can't go on vacation, right? It's just I'm repeating back what you said to me. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you going to repeat the why part every time, Christian? Every time you loop back?
Yeah.
Why is that important to do that?
So it's like I'm always going to tie in like what they want out of it. I'm always going to tie in like what they get, what they want out of it, and what they don't want. Okay. And I'm going to use their words.
Oh, I meant asking them why. Like, why is it important to you?
Oh,
Why
yeah.
would you still do it?
At the beginning of objection handling, yes.
I noticed you
Because,
asked it multiple times. I wonder if that's like to get their brain back into the result.
yeah, get their brain back in the result. And then I need good leverage.
Got it.
That's also a big thing,
Okay.
too. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So if they're just like, oh, yeah, this makes business sense, like that's not great leverage.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, yeah, you'll make more money, but why do you need to make more money? Why invest in yourself? Why invest in the business? Oh, because like I don't want to be stressed, I don't want to worry, and I don't want to take my wife on vacations. Well, dude's cooked at that point. Once I have that, there's really no getting out of it. Once you have that amount of leverage, then that's what makes all the frames actually hit.
Mm. Yeah, and then you'd constantly, because that extra Y would be when you give like a binary, do you want to be like constrict or take massive action Y, and then it's like you double down again on the leverage because then like often something emotional will come up there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So
then
it's
you did
fucking hard.
consequence.
Yeah, and the consequence.
Consequence. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
hard to be the
consequence.
prospect because I just knew I was talking so much garbage on my side, and then I was getting fucking roasted in the chat. This guy's a bitch.
Yeah, and it's like, and you gotta like one thing that makes it very, very difficult to disagree is anytime that I get a bullshit answer, I address it immediately. Okay. So
Mm.
anytime that you're evading, right? What made Ian laugh was, hey man, we're not, I forget exactly what it was. It's like, hey, I'm not saying things to sound good. We're talking about what needs to be done. So, like, I asked a very pointed question. You're like, hey, yeah, it all sounds good. I'm not answering your question. I'm not falling into your frame. Like, immediately, hard hit, re ask. So, it's like, I
Yeah.
need to cut, like, because what will happen oftentimes and why we'll have a hard time in objection handling is they go into autopilot mode. So, we're saying like the most sick frames, but they're not actually buying in, they're not listening. So immediately, if you ever hear that type of language, it's hard pushback and then go for it again. Because none of the frames matter at all if they're not actually listening to what I'm saying, if they're not contemplating what I'm saying. All right.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, yeah, yeah. I know you were. I think for me, it was more just like addressing the bullshit really quickly, and then just like getting it back on
Mm-hmm.
point. I'll like
Yeah.
dive into it like that call I had yesterday. I like would stay in a bit, and then before I go back, and then I'm just like I'm off fucking frame, and it's hard to get back.
Yeah.
So that was on
Because it's
point.
like that. Yeah. Then, like, if we're just having a conversation or it's like we're entertaining too much bullshit, that also cuts a little bit at your credibility too. Right. And it on some level it justifies their objection if I treat it like it's real,
Yeah,
right? If I allow them to be squirmy, right? Like the reason why it starts to become more and more difficult for you to give objections is because I immediately very negatively hit you with if you say any type of bullshit, right? You teach
yep,
people how to talk to you every single conversation. So if I hit it very like hard, it's like not being an asshole, but it's like just very direct and cut it to the point, then I'm cutting off and it's like it's going to be much much harder for you to do that again.
yeah,
And then you have to give a real answer. And then once you give a real answer, you're digging yourself more and more of a hole. Until eventually you got to be like, ah, fuck, all right.
Yeah, Christian, this was great. Thanks for walking me through this. I think I just need to talk to a few other companies, just to compare and contrast. You know what I mean? Just like any good product manager would.
Yeah, potentially. We can definitely go over what makes a good product manager. But help me understand when you talk about needing to talk to other companies, I guess like
Yeah.
what are you hoping to get out of those conversations that maybe we just didn't cover here today?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's just like you don't know what you don't know, right? It's like if you go to the
Yeah.
store and like say you're shopping, right? Like that's a nice black t-shirt. I'm sure there's lots of different brands for black t-shirts, right? And it's like you kind of just want to
Hmm.
explore the different black t-shirts before you
Yeah.
ultimately make that investment, especially because this is 17K as well. Like imagine a
Yeah,
17K
potentially,
black
right? Like
t-shirt, right?
it just comes down to like ultimately if I spend all my time looking at black t-shirts, I'm gonna have a
Yeah.
hard time doing a ton of other stuff, right? So
Yeah,
help me
I'm not
so
gonna spend too much
yeah.
time though. Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
So in terms of like talking to other companies, just to see how I can best help, do we
Yeah.
already have like actual appointments like booked, or is this something we're just gonna go out into the ether and then look around?
I'm gonna look around. Like I think I've seen a few more ads actually, like come onto my
Yeah,
feed.
yeah.
So like some of
Okay.
them are actually coming to mind now that we speak. So I was actually thinking about like
Yeah.
doing a little bit of research on them as well, and then
Yeah,
speaking
yeah,
see how it
for
plays
sure.
out.
Like in terms of like doing the research though, right? Like
Yeah,
what is your deciding criteria that's going to make it to
yeah.
where it's like, hey, I'm gonna move forward or not move forward?
For sure, yeah. And it's like you obviously don't know what you don't know, right? Like I'm not an expert
Yeah.
in the job search process, so like I get
Yeah.
that, right? But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
So
I
what's
just want
gonna
it's
be your
more.
deciding criteria though?
Yeah, it's just more of like a gut feeling. You know what I mean? It's like you don't
Yeah.
really have like a deciding criteria when you walk into the mall on a black t-shirt. Like you kind of have high level what you're looking for, but it's like
Yeah.
you kind of just want to see the different black t-shirts before
Yeah,
paying
could be an issue, right?
$17,000.
If we don't quite know what we're looking for. And in terms of like you talking to companies, is there a certain number of companies you want to take a look at?
Maybe five. What were you thinking? Like how many do you think I should speak to?
Well, why
Do
not
you think
10?
that's enough? I don't know, maybe 10. Do you think I should talk to 10?
What why not two?
Well, no, because I got to keep my options open, right? I think two is a
Yeah.
little limited. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but what it comes down to, like, what's the actual reason why we're choosing five, not two, not 10, right? Like,
yeah.
what's the reason we're doing that?
I mean, like, I want to get this done within a week's time frame. So, like,
Okay.
whatever amount of companies I can speak to within a week,
Yeah,
is
why a week? That's kind of a pretty set time there, man.
yeah. I mean, it's like I don't want to drag this on too long, and I'm pretty sure like a lot of you guys
Okay.
are like, there's gonna be at this point like there'll be a lot of similarities between the different programs, and I feel like if
Yeah.
the 10 companies, like two on
Yeah.
Mondays, you're the first one, so I talked to another one today, and then
Yeah.
two more for the rest of the week. For each of the other days, I feel like at that point, like I'll find consistencies. And then from there, it's almost like if you were to get surgery, right? Like you would talk
Yeah.
to multiple physicians and get multiple perspectives,
Maybe,
but
right?
it's like
It
you're not going to
depends
talk to
on
50. You won't talk to 50
yeah,
surgeons. You know
it
what I mean?
depends on like, where I'm going and what I'm doing. But it sounds like we're just
Yeah.
looking for clarity when it comes to making this decision, right?
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want clarity, Christian?
Yeah, it's like we all want
Clarity is
that. Well, we
king.
just have to, I guess, like understand what clarity actually means, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're going to the beach tomorrow, you never know what the weather's going to be at there till like you actually get there, right? Like we can be pretty sure what the weather at, but we're never
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
actually
yeah,
know
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure until we actually get there. So in
Yeah.
terms of even if you looked at like 100 of these companies, what's the
Yeah.
only way you're actually going to know if any of these companies actually work for you or not?
Yeah, it's more of like an intuition thing. Just like
Yeah, and it's like we can
what is
have
my
all the intuition in the world before we actually do it, but what's the only way we're going to know if it truly works for you or not, right?
I mean,
Outside of just intuition.
yeah, of course you gotta get started. You do gotta
Yeah, it's
get
like we got to do it, right? And
yeah,
when it
yeah,
comes to
yeah,
like ultimately, when it
yeah,
comes down to our time, like for example, man, like I know nothing about plumbing,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely nothing. If my
Sure.
toilet's broken, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really help me to talk to 10 different plumbers because they're all going to tell me varying different things that, again, I don't even have a
Yeah.
criteria to even
Yeah.
know which
And
one
I
makes the most
appreciate that
sense,
perspective, right? But it's like
right?
how much does
I'm
it
trying
cost to
to,
fix your toilet?
yeah. But when it comes down to like ultimately, if the toilet is broken and I don't
Yeah.
actually have a criteria to even
Yeah.
choose the best plumber, like, does it really help me to talk to plumber after plumber after plumber if I don't really even know what I'm looking for?
Yeah, I mean it's not fully black and white. Like there
Yeah, but
is some
does that actually help me though to talk to plumber after plumber
yeah.
when I don't have a criteria to look for?
Yeah, well I guess like and that's a good point you bring up, Christian. I guess
Yeah,
like
but does it help me though? Like I'm trying to
yeah.
understand.
Well,
Do you
I'm
think it
actually
helps me?
developing a criteria. As I speak to more people, I'm actually developing a
Yeah,
criteria. Like
but and
can I share
again,
an
like it,
example? Do you
yeah,
mind if I
when we go
share?
into it's like I might have a bit of a criteria when it comes to like the
Yeah.
plumbing, but I don't have the expertise to really know if that's the correct criteria or not the correct criteria. right? So it comes
Yeah.
down to, for me talking to 10 different plumbers, does that actually help me, right?
Yeah.
Is that the best use of my time?
Yeah. I mean, can I give an example here?
Well, would that be the best use of my time?
I mean, I think so. In some capacity, I think so. Because it's like I
Well,
learned
when
to
you're
use.
saying like at some capacity, right? Like ultimately, the amount of expertise is going to be required to actually make a decision on who the best plumber is. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
go to plumbing school, bro.
Sure. Of
Right?
course.
So
Of
when it
course.
comes down to like ultimately, if I'm not willing to get that level of expertise, because if I was, I would just do it myself. So it comes
Yeah.
down to ultimately, if I'm not willing to get that expertise, I can't get that expertise. Does it actually help me to hear 10 different opinions when I don't even
Mhm.
have a criteria to make and understand like what differentiates them?
Yeah. So like, even if I don't have like the full plumbing
Well, I'm
expertise,
not
like,
even talking about you, man. I'm talking about me. Does it actually help me?
what do you mean, you specifically? I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about me
like
with the plumbing.
no, no, no. What I'm talking about, like with the plumbing, if I have
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
people come over, does it
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
help me to hear 10 different opinions when I don't even have the criteria to go ahead and decide on it?
I'll put it this way, like I learned a lot from you today that I didn't know
Yeah,
about.
it's like it again, and again, like
Right?
I'm
So
not
like
talking about
I
you right now.
can, I can
I'm trying to
only
talk
imagine
about
like I can only
yeah.
imagine how many new things I'm gonna learn if I speak to a few more people. That's kind of
Yeah,
where my
potentially, but it just comes down to like again, I think we're avoiding the question, right? And I think the question and the reason why we're avoiding because it does show a bit of a gap, right, in our decision right now. So it's like be real with me, man. Like, and I'm trying to be as nice about it as I can be, but I
yeah.
want to help you, but I can only
Yeah.
help you if you're open. Okay.
Okay, I'm open. I'm
So
open.
does it actually help me?
Yeah.
That I
Well, it's
have
like
no criteria to look at. I don't
yeah.
know what's going to differentiate them to hear 10 different opinions about
Yeah.
how we unclog my toilet.
I guess let me ask you, right? Like in this case,
Well, time out real quick, right? Does it
yeah.
actually help me though?
In plumbing, no. In plumbing, no.
Okay,
I agree.
why doesn't it help me though?
Well, it's like there's not a lot of risk if it's $200, like to fix the
Well, it
toilet. You
comes
know what I
down to
mean?
even if it's going to take $10,000 to fix it, does that
Yeah,
actually change? Does it help me? Is again, because when it gets more complex,
yeah, yeah,
does
yeah.
my lack of knowledge
Yeah.
increase or does it decrease? Like I know less about the plumbing when it gets more complex. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like the criteria, the problem only gets worse the more complex we get. So why do you feel like it doesn't help me given the fact that it's like, hey, I don't have the expertise to just hear a bunch of different opinions on it? Why don't you feel it helps me?
Well, what I'm saying though is that like I learned
Yeah,
new
but
things from you today.
why don't you feel it helps me though?
I get where you're coming from, right? Where it's
I'm
like,
not coming from anywhere. I'm just trying to understand. Right? It's
yeah,
like
okay,
be
obviously,
be
obviously.
real with me. Like
Yeah, like
why don't you
I'm
feel
not
like it
fully an
actually
expert.
helps me?
No, I'm not fully an expert,
No, no,
right?
like we're not even talking about you right now. We're talking about me and my plumbing situation. Why don't you feel like
Yeah.
it helps me?
Well, you're not like an expert in plumbing fully, right? So it's like
Mhm.
everyone is gonna like sound good to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
But
like
like
the only
there's
thing
certain
at
things
that
as
point, right? The
there's
only
certain
thing
things
at
as
that
well though
point
that sometimes it
we're
sounds
really
logical and sometimes it
we're
sounds
really
it doesn't.
yeah, but really at that point, right? If the first person I talk to, if it makes sense, I know they can do the job, right? It would be better for me just to move forward with them because the one thing I cannot get back is going to be time in this situation,
Yeah.
right? So it
But
just comes down to
what if
for
I
you,
speak to
like,
someone tomorrow who can do the same exact job for like 13 grand instead of 17 grand?
yeah, well, that's where again, how are you ever going to know they can do the same exact job?
Until you actually get started. But it's like if I
Yeah.
feel like you
So it
can do the
comes down
job
to
and I feel like
it
someone
comes
else
down
can
to
do the job.
ultimately, right? If they could do the same exact job that we have with the
Yeah.
same exact track record that we have,
Yeah.
why would they charge you so little?
Well, I could say it the other way around, which is like, why are you trying to take
Well, it
money
comes
from
down to why do you feel like people are willing to pay us what we are asking for? Why do you feel like we've had all these clients that are willing to pay what we ask?
me? Because you get results.
Yeah, so it just comes down to like ultimately, man, like the market will tell you what it's worth. So if we're looking for something that ultimately is just going to be like less expensive, right? The
Yeah.
reason why they charge less is because they have to charge less because people are not willing to pay more for it. Because if they could charge what we charge, do you feel like they would?
Sure, but like going to the black
Yeah.
t-shirt analogy, right? There's black t-shirt that can go for $150, like if it has the sign
Mhm.
LV on it, Louis Vuitton, right? They could charge you $1,000 for that. But it's like
Mhm.
you can get a black t-shirt for less. So you're not gonna pay as
Yeah,
much.
well, it's like, and again, you can get it for less, but then we're talking about the less when it comes to the quality as well. So for
Well, it's
you, when
like,
we're talking about you getting into a higher paying job, are you looking for
yeah,
something that is more cheap, right?
yeah.
That we can just see what can happen, or are we looking for something that'll actually get the job done and has a proven track record to get there?
No, for sure. Obviously the latter, right? But
Okay,
it's like
why is it so obvious? We're having to have the conversation.
no, because I'm saying like with the Louis
Mhm.
Vuitton, it's like people will look at that and say
Well,
like some
take
people
take
some,
Louis Vuitton out of it because again, like analogies can only go so far, right? So for you, like ultimately, why do you want something that you know has a track record and will work for you rather than just going with a cheap option?
well, I feel like something cheaper could also have a proven track record.
Yeah, but again, if it has a proven track record and gets the results that we get, right? If
Like
the market tells us that
maybe
people
they
are willing to pay the price for us,
yeah,
why would
yeah,
the cheaper option, if they do the exact same thing we do, why
yeah.
wouldn't they charge more?
I mean, maybe
Are
they
these
just
people just altruistic?
maybe they're not as greedy. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're not as
Well,
like they don't
comes
want as
down
high
to as
profit.
well, right? Like ultimately, right? With the amount of people we have working full time, dude, we
Yeah.
could not charge less than what we do. Right. So if you're going to find somebody who does charge less, it's just going to come down to do you feel like they would be able to support the amount of full-time people that we have?
I mean, probably not, but I also don't know if you're making
Yeah.
that
So
up.
then
I don't know what your profit margins are.
well, when it comes down to it, man, it's like we're not going to open up the books for you, but like on some level,
Yeah.
we're going to have to take a little bit of a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're over there and you're going to be super skeptical about everything and take that viewpoint on everything, like there's no way we're going to get anything moving. Right. We're never going to make any decision at that point. So it just comes down to like ultimately, right? Because it
Yeah.
sounds like the biggest holdup right now is like we're just looking for a cheaper price. So it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
just put
yeah.
like the money
Like
aside for a second.
for the same value. Yeah,
Yeah. But
cheaper
then it's
price.
like, again, like how do we know it's the same value?
Until we
We
get
don't,
started.
right? Like what we're searching for something that doesn't exist. So like that's a bit of the
Yeah,
issue here. But it's like we can
yeah,
figure out the money part. The money's the easy part. But if we just
yeah.
put the money aside for a second, is this something we would actually want to go ahead and do?
Yeah, no, money aside, I like the process.
Yeah, well, why would we do it though?
Well, because like I said, you guys have a proven process. I like the structure.
Yeah, but like
And I
take us
need
out
the
of it.
help.
Like why actually invest in yourself to make sure you get into a
Yeah.
higher paying job and we actually
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
career we need?
Yeah, I mean, like I got a young daughter and everything, and so like I want to provide for her. So yeah.
Yeah. And can I make a suggestion that,
Okay.
right? Like right now, we're looking at this and 17,000 is a lot because of what we're making. But
Yeah.
if you're at the point where you're making 500,000 per year, you're in a better job, you're in a better position, would
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
17,000 be as big in your head as it is right now?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, it'd still be a lot of money.
Right?
It wouldn't be as
Yeah,
big.
it's like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not going to be as big. So it's like the real problem is we don't actually have the job. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So the
yeah.
question I really have to ask, man, is do you actually want to change that and solve that problem?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Okay. But
Yeah.
how are we ever going to change that unless we
Yeah.
get the real help that we need to actually get to the point where it's like we're actually making the type of money we need to be making?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah, we have to get the
Okay,
help.
how are we ever going to do that?
Like, we're not gonna be able to do it. That's what it comes down to.
So
Like,
I got
we
to
would.
ask, like, what happens if we continue down the same track we have been, right? We keep doing what we have been. We're still stuck in the same job that we're at, and we never actually start making the money we truly want to be making. Like, what happens then?
I mean, obviously, like the life that I want to have for my daughter, that doesn't get to happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
So are you
basically,
willing to allow that to happen? Because ultimately, it is a choice.
ideally, no. Ideally, I don't want it to
Okay.
happen. Yeah.
Well, it's a yes or a no.
Okay, obviously, like yes, I don't want it to allow it to happen. So no, I'm
Okay.
not
So
gonna allow
it's
that.
like because like the hardest part of this entire conversation is just committing to actually changing, right? The
Yeah.
biggest problem people have, especially in your situation, they have the gold handcuffs on and it's just comfortable enough that they don't do anything about this. So are you actually in a position right now to where you're committed to make a change and committed to do whatever it takes?
Yeah, I'm committed. I'm
Okay.
committed.
So if you're committed, man, like I'm in your corner, but don't tell
Yeah.
me what you can't do. We'll be here all
Yeah.
day. Let's talk about what we can do to actually make this change. So bills, expenses aside, like what are you actually currently working with right now that you can invest in yourself to make sure we
Yeah.
get out of our situation?
Okay, can we do half now and half in a month?
Yeah, we do
Okay.
that.
So I have a question for you. Like, as a
Mhm.
buyer, right? As a consumer, because here's the thing, like sometimes like it feels logical where it's like if you got on a call and some shit was fucking 20 grand, bro. Like, are you gonna buy on the first call? Or are you gonna like listen, like get a few more options, bro? Come on.
Oh, it's like, okay, so
I'm talking about like
again,
you specifically as a buyer, you
me
specifically.
specifically,
Yeah, you specifically.
I strong arm setters and closers to not hop on calls and send me the fucking link. Personally, of like the last few things I've bought.
Yeah.
So it comes down to the amount of information that is out there. Like, let's just say, for example, okay, the amount of information that is out there, like on your company, what you guys do, is there
Mhm.
enough that they don't even need to hop on a sales call?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Technically
Yeah,
they could do the bill and
and like
everything.
legitimately, they could spend a night going over that shit. Spend 2 to 3 hours going over it. Like, okay, this seems logical enough. It makes sense. They have good results. They have a good track record. So right?
Hmm.
Like, so there's enough information there. Also, as well, when we're talking about it, so just so you get it in your head, like there is enough information there. Like that's number one.
Yeah.
Number
Okay.
two, this belief that they need to drag this out, they need to go through all these different things, all these different hoops, and not take action. Number one, yes, it hurts them moving forward for this call, but does that belief, if they carry it over, everywhere in their life, like ultimately, if they're wanting to get to the highest point in their career, does that belief actually help them? Right? Being overly analytical and not taking risk.
But it's like it's a spectrum though.
Yeah,
So like,
just with
okay,
anything,
at
right?
17, okay, maybe at seven, there's got to be some things like let's say it's like a fucking $50,000 purchase. Like, and money's
Mhm.
relative, right? So like
Yeah,
50,000 to one person can be expensive, and
yeah.
50,000 to another person can be inexpensive. But it's like there's
Mhm.
got to be some price point where you're like, okay, let me actually think about this for a second. Let me actually like really think about this. Like for
Yeah, but
example,
it's
right?
like,
Like when I was on the call with you, like say
yeah.
you said like to work with you, it'll be 20K. Like
Mhm.
even though I like to take action on shit, I'd be like, holy shit, let me actually think about that for a second. Because I don't know if that's actually gonna work out for me.
Yeah, well, okay. So there's a couple different things, right? So it's like number one, the money for the value. Right? So
Yeah.
that's a different thing. So like for example, like let's just say like hey, at 8,000 it makes it a no-brainer, but at
Yeah.
20,000 like I don't know if the value's there, right? In terms of like the upside. Then at
Okay.
that point
Okay.
like the
Yeah.
value doesn't make sense.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like if the people
Okay.
you're talking to, like 17,000, like the value makes sense, then
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
point, it's
Okay.
just about like, getting them to take action. So there's a difference. So let's say
Okay.
what
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
charging
Gotcha.
costs $100,000, but they're only going to get like,
Yeah.
a 50K up bump from whatever it is like, okay, at that point, like the value doesn't make sense. So it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, I need to think about it. It's like, oh, actually, that's too expensive. The value doesn't make sense. So
Hmm.
there's a very clear delineation there. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that part. I get that part. Okay. Okay. Even still, like you still don't think about things sometimes. Like you still don't want to
No, it's
speak
like
to multiple people.
I think about it, right? Like
Yeah.
don't like I'm not like not I don't not think about things, right? It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
once you go ahead and you decide like, hey, I know this person will help me, right? The best because it's like let's just talk about like education programs, coaching, anything along those lines. The best way to actually get the result is just to fucking go all in. Like on some level, it's like yeah, there are shitty programs out there, but I would hope you guys could like see that, right? On some level, if you are seeing somebody who's good at what they do, they have a good track record, the likelihood if you just follow what they tell you, they'll get your results fairly high. Okay, at least in my
Yeah.
head. It's all about an
Yeah. No,
action
it's
taking
true. No,
process.
it's true. Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
just comes down to it's like, hey, I found it. It makes sense. I can see myself being in the program, getting the coaching, whatever it would be. I need to go
Mhm.
ahead and like take action to go ahead and do this. So when you're talking about like maybe like for example, with like the facility offer that I'm on, right?
Mhm.
It's like sometimes, for example, there does actually need to be multiple people there. Like they need to put their house up for collateral. The wife's name is on the actual, is on the mortgage,
Mhm.
right? Like I need the wife sign off, bro. Right. So there's some things where it's like logistically, we need to see if it's viable, if it makes sense, if we can do it. But
Yeah,
once
yeah,
all
yeah.
those boxes are ticked, then at that point, all you're doing is you're putting distance in between you and actually doing the things that are required. So it's like, yeah, you're doing your due diligence, but the amount of due diligence that is required, um,
Mhm.
I would say, especially for the people you talk to, they're going to overvalue it.
Wait, sorry, I
And
didn't know the
they're going to
last. What do you?
overvalue the amount of due diligence and the amount of risk taking that is
Oh, yeah, yeah,
required
yeah,
to
yeah, 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 no,
ultimately
for
be
sure.
successful. Because when
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
thinking about like the top people in any walk of life, it's the people who are more geared towards the risk taking, right? Doesn't mean they do it like stupidly, right?
yeah.
But they do take calculated risk. And getting out of that calculated risk, it's like people think like, oh, if I just talk to more people, if I spend more time, the risk makes more sense or the risk goes away. Like it literally doesn't. Like for example, like I'm about to join your program. Okay. I move forward the exact same day versus I move forward after I talk to 100 people. Do I actually get different results?
Well, like, so like for example, like on my calls, genuinely people are like,
Mhm.
"Oh shit, like this is something new I didn't know that I needed. Like this is a really cool value add that will help me in my job search." And so like I
Mhm.
feel like a logistical reason to hop on another call could be like maybe I learned something new even beyond this. So
Mhm.
like your company had
Yeah,
three
but
pillars,
it
maybe
comes
there's
down
a
to
company that
like,
could have like four pillars. You know what I mean?
yeah. But it's like knowledge is worthless without execution. So why would you choose something that sounds good rather than the execution behind it gets you the results?
Okay,
You
I'm
get what I'm
not following.
saying?
No, I'm not following
So,
fully. Like, are you
okay,
basically saying
it's
like
like,
you have to do it to you have to get started to know if it's
well,
gonna
first of all,
work?
you have to do it and know, to know you get results. But
Yeah.
second of all, the idea, it sounding cool or like, oh, that seems like it's really helpful, ultimately is meaningless unless they execute on it. Okay. So it
Okay.
comes down to, let's say they talk to another program and it's like they hear other things that sounds cool. How do they actually know any of those are going to work? It just sounds cool. And like ultimately ideas and what sounds cool doesn't matter. The execution and results is what matters, right? Ideas
Yeah.
are a dime a dozen, right? Like packaging things up and making it sound cool, it's a dime a dozen. Execution and getting results, that's what matters.
Right. Okay. Okay. So essentially, you're saying like there could be different companies that have different mechanisms, different features, but it's like
Yeah.
it all just comes down to like the fucking result. And if we're all
Yeah.
saying that we can get you the result, the only way to actually know is to do
It's
it.
if you do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then at that point, like once you're like you drill down into it and you start poking holes, you realize with those people, because it's like it's not that you gotta like that's not a real objection. They're looking for something else. So in that role play, for example, looking for something well, it's cheaper. Well,
Hmm.
it's like, well, it's 17,000. If I can get the same value, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, so now I need to pull holes in. Well, dude, if they can give you the same value, same results, they would charge what we're charging, right? We're like
Yeah.
we're all in business. We don't run charities out here. You get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
then
Yeah,
I address like, hey, the main issue is actually the money, right? But
yeah,
before I went into the money, I kind of need to tie off a bit of like the value stuff first.
yeah.
But you understand like there's something that's underlying that actual objection.
Hmm.
Now that's very different versus like you will get some people who say, well, I always make decisions this way, but then we go into the decision making reframe stuff.
Wait, so to challenge you on that, right? Like if they
Hmm.
could get you the result as good as we could, then they would be charging a higher price. What if I said, okay, well, then let me go find someone who's more expensive than you?
I mean,
What
again,
would
it's always going to be a middle ground, right? With everything. So it's like finding the ultimate Goldilocks zone. basically. So it comes down to how are you going to know if any of these options, right? If we're purely just going off of price, right? Or
Yeah.
purely just going off of what we feel like would work, but we don't have the criteria, how are you ever going to make a sound decision?
So I basically just want to speak to some people within the program.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
we can maybe do that.
Yeah.
Just so you understand, like nobody's in any obligation to like communicate with like anybody who's like talking to us. Because I'm sure like,
Yeah.
hey, if you come into the program, like we get you a super booming job, you really love it. You're gonna be busy
Yeah.
with that. You're busy with family. You don't want to talk to
Yeah.
100 people a week that,
Yeah.
try to sell our program for us, do you?
Yeah. I get that, but it's like, man, this is
Okay,
15 minutes.
why do you get that though?
Yeah, I mean, like, I hear you. Like, I guess
Okay,
I hear you. I hear
but
what you're
right, but
saying. It's
yeah, why do you hear what I'm saying? Does that actually make sense of like why we don't require them to, talk to hundreds of people per day? Because
no, for sure, but I'm sure like you could find one person that would be open to speaking with me, right?
yeah, I mean, again, I'm sure we maybe could, but again, like they're in no obligation to. Just like
Yeah.
when you come to
Yeah.
us, like you're not on the hook to then start selling our service
Sure.
for us.
I get it.
It
I
just
get it.
it
Yeah.
comes down to it for you, just so I can see
Yeah.
how best I can help. Like, what are you hoping to maybe hear from
Yeah.
them that maybe we just didn't cover here today?
Yeah, yeah. I always like to hear just like what their experience was in the program.
Yeah,
Obviously, right? Like I know you have good intentions, Christian. Like I don't want to
yeah,
challenge that, but it's like
yeah.
there is slightly a conflict of interest here, right?
Yeah,
And so
and when you mention like a conflict of interest, right? Like it's
yeah,
interesting because if I send you somebody, right? Like I'm fully transparent. I do have a conflict of interest. I think our
yeah, yeah,
program
yeah.
works. It's pretty
For
great.
sure.
If
Yeah,
I
yeah,
send
yeah.
you somebody, am I going to send you somebody who thinks the same thing or thinks something different?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I appreciate that perspective, right? But it's
Yeah,
like it's
am
not
I going to
even
send you somebody who like got really great results and has a
yeah,
ton
yeah,
of
no,
great
no, for
things to say?
sure. Yeah, no,
Yeah, exactly,
you're gonna
right?
see it. Yeah,
So
yeah. But
on
it's
some
like
level, you already know what that conversation is going to be. Like you know I'm going
yeah,
to send
yeah,
somebody who has good things to say. So at
yeah,
that
yeah,
point, like again, we're just putting time and distance in between us and
yeah,
getting to our goal.
yeah.
So for
Yeah.
you,
You mind
like
if I
what's
challenge you on that?
actually yeah, like what's going on, man?
Yeah, so it's like it's not more so black and white about like did they
Hmm.
get the result or did they not get the result? Like I know you're gonna send me someone that obviously like got the result, right? They landed the job through
Hmm.
your help. My concern more so just like I just want to know like what their experience was like on a day to day, right? It's kind of like someone who graduates from university and it's like they
Yeah.
could have gotten a wonderful job out of university, but like you just want to know like what was their experience with the coaches inside the program, the client success managers. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
get a feel for that more so and like just so I know like
Yeah.
what to expect. They can because I'm sure like not everything was positive. And so it's like
Yeah,
I'm not even just looking for
just
negative. It's more so just to get
yeah.
a holistic
Well,
understanding here.
just with anything, right? Like
Yeah.
ultimately, when we're talking about like subjective experiences, like those are going to
Yeah.
be different for everybody.
Oh, for
But
sure. For sure.
if somebody came into the program and we told them to do rain dances on their roof, but that got them the
Mhm.
job, ultimately, does it really matter if it got them the result that they wanted?
I mean, to me, it does. The experience matters, right? Because
Okay.
it's like the same thing with university, right? There's plenty of universities that can
Hmm.
get the outcome of a job, but people will have
Yeah.
different experiences depending on the university. And so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if even though PCA could like get me the outcome and based off of the testimonials and like the results that you show me,
Hmm.
like I'm sure I could land the role with you guys. Like that's not
Yeah.
my concern. It's more so like the actual experience. What is the customer or client
Yeah.
experience like? And so
But when
I
it
want to
comes
know
down
like
to
that
for
compared to like
you,
other
right?
programs, you know?
Yeah, because when it comes down to like the experience, right? Because like your
Yeah.
experience is like just objectively speaking, it's going to be different from everyone else's
Oh, for
experiences
sure.
because
For
they're
sure.
not going to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
But there's trends,
so
you know
on
what I
some
mean?
yeah on some level, like ultimately, like we're not going to know until like we actually get in. But I
Yeah.
would say like the biggest thing that we really need to focus on is can it actually get the outcome or not get the outcome? Because people go to Harvard not because, the campus looks nice, but
Yeah.
because of what you get out of it once you have a Harvard degree, right?
Yeah,
You get
I
what I
mean,
mean?
I don't know
It's
if
the
it's
same thing
that
here.
black and white though. Like 17K, I know we talked about this as well, right? Like it's a
Hmm.
bit of a stretch for me. I'm only making about like 120 a year, and
Yeah.
so like this is ultimately a sacrifice. The outcome is important to me. Like we're in alignment
Mhm.
on that, but I just want to understand like what is the actual client experience like within the program?
Yeah, and again, I can send you tons of screenshots about people having an amazing experience and send you a
Yeah.
ton of people who had an amazing experience. Again, like
Yeah.
ultimately, that doesn't mean that you're going to have an amazing experience. On some level, we're going to have to take
Yeah.
a little bit of the leap of faith. Because what's the
Yeah.
only way that you're going to know if this actually works for you specifically or not?
Yeah. I mean, it's it's not even more so like amazing, not amazing. It's just like,
Mhm.
what is it? Like that's what I'm looking for. Just like what is the
Yeah, and
experience?
again,
Like
and like
forget
and
the
again, I can send
adjectives,
you
right?
and
Because
I
the
can send
adjectives
you
are
a
all
ton of
subjective.
stuff. Yeah, and I can send you a ton of stuff like going over like all of that again, and I
Yeah.
can go more in detail on this call too of exactly I
Yeah.
can
Yeah. Yeah.
show you
Yeah.
into the program and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
again, what's the only way we're gonna know if it actually works for us or not, or we're gonna have a good experience in the program or not? What's the only way we're gonna actually be able to know that stuff?
Yeah. I just want to make an informed decision, you know?
Yeah, but what's the only way we're gonna be able to actually know and make that informed decision?
Obviously starting. Obviously
Yeah, like
starting.
doing it, right? It's like that's the only way we're gonna know that this is actually works for us or not. Is just doing it.
Yeah.
And if I show you a
Yeah.
thousand people who had an amazing experience, that doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're gonna have an amazing experience. The only way we're gonna know is if we actually like dive in and do it, and we bet on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So for you, what do you feel like is really holding you back from actually just like betting on yourself and diving in if we feel like this would get you the result?
I mean, because the ticket price is so high, like I just want to
Yeah.
make sure I can make the
Well, it's
most
like, well,
informed decision I can.
take the price out of it for a second, because like the price is the easiest part of this entire situation. Okay, we can figure
Not
that part out.
not for me though.
Well, I'm saying just like in general, like we can figure that
Yeah.
part out. Like
Okay.
there's tons of different options. If we just
Yeah.
took like the money aside for a second, is this something you would actually want to go ahead and do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Money aside, I do think
why would you want to do it though?
like I think this can get me to the outcome that I'm looking for. I think you guys can help me
Yeah.
with this role.
But for you, right? Because like, thinking we can help, that's one thing. But why would you actually invest in yourself to
Yeah.
get the outcome? Like that's the important why we need to pay attention
Yeah.
to.
I mean, obviously, right? Like as we discussed, this role is going to
Yeah.
facilitate new opportunities for me and my family, and so
Okay.
yeah, getting that help.
Yeah, well, what's the biggest new opportunity that you feel like,
Yeah,
a new role, higher paying role would actually get you? Just so we're on the same page.
yeah. I mean, definitely funding the kids' college and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
got two kids who are freshmen in high school, and so yeah, as we
Yeah.
discussed, right? Higher paying role,
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
opportunities, like we get all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And can I share a perspective around that?
yeah, sure.
Because like ultimately right now, 17,000 like being a lot of money. Is
Yeah,
that a problem or a symptom of a bigger problem?
well, it's definitely the symptom.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
if we're at a position where we're making 250, 300, 500, right? Like $17,000 wouldn't be that much or as much money when we're making 120, right? Would you
Yeah.
agree with that?
Oh yeah, I would agree.
So I have to ask,
Yeah.
do you want that to continue to be a lot of money for you, or do you want to change that?
Yeah, ideally, I don't want it to be a lot of money for me in the future.
Yeah, because it comes down like how long have we been in this situation where it has been a lot of money for us?
Quite some time. Quite some time.
How long?
Yeah, yeah. A long time, man. Years, years.
Okay. So I
Yeah,
have to ask, what happens if we never invest in ourselves to get out of that situation? And this continues for longer, for next year, 5 years
yeah,
from now, 10 years from now.
yeah,
What happens if we never get out of this situation?
yeah. Then the goals that I want, they don't get accomplished.
Yeah, some people fall short of their goals all the time. They're fine with it. Like, be real with me, man. Like, what's the actual day to day impact a year from
Yeah,
now if we're not able to pay for the things we want to pay for, make sure the kids are taken care of? Like, what actually happens?
yeah. Well, like I don't want to let my kids down. Like I really, it's important that I fund their college and everything.
Yeah.
Uh, and
And
so
you being able to do that ultimately is a choice. Okay. So do you feel like you're in a position now to where
yeah,
you're willing to do whatever it takes to
yeah,
choose to get into a higher paying role so we can do all the things we need to do?
yeah. I think I'm willing. I think
Okay.
I'm willing.
Because if you're willing, man, it's like hey, the money, we can figure that part out. It just
Yeah,
is going to depend based on what you are actually working with. Okay. So bills, expenses
yeah,
aside, what are you actually working with that you can invest in yourself? That's not going to put you in tough spots, not going to throw you out on the street. So that way
yeah,
we can actually get you in that higher paying job.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was good. That was good. So like, was your thought process trying to get away from the whole like weeds of
Yeah,
speaking with people?
it's not important. Like
Yeah.
here's the thing,
Because I
right?
noticed
It's
you're trying
like
to just pull me away from that and just get to the bigger picture.
well, if you're yeah, because that's what it is. Like understand that is not a real objection, it is a smokescreen objection. That just
The
is the case.
interesting thing, like I know they say like the way you handle objections is like ultimately like a reflection of your beliefs. Because
Mhm.
someone did hit me with, because I responded to them and I was like, well, do you think like they're gonna say positive or negative things about us? And then he was like, well, it's not about that, like it being black or white. Like I want to know what was their experience like. And in my head, I was like, you know what? Fair enough. That does seem pretty.
Why does that matter?
Because it's like, if he's going to spend 15 grand or 17 grand, like to just
But
hear like what someone's experience was like, that to
I
me
know, but
does
it's
feel a
like
bit
okay,
logical.
okay, they're not paying $15,000 to get
Yeah.
good fifis. They're paying $15,000 to get a higher paying job, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So if they join the program and you tell them to do rain dances on their fucking roof every single day, and that was able to triple their income, does it
Mhm.
fucking matter? Like ultimately.
Yeah, ultimately, realistically, it doesn't. It is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it doesn't
Yeah,
matter, right?
realistically,
Like
it doesn't
the
matter.
experience, the mechanism, ultimately it doesn't matter. The outcome is the biggest thing that actually matters. Okay? It's like cuz that's what they want. And it's like
Yeah.
ultimately them knowing what other people cuz it's like first and foremost, when you're talking about subjective feelings, just so you can understand this conceptually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you explain things subjectively how you feel, I might relate to that, but I've never been inside your body. I have no fucking clue what that means to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Like
So I see that, Justin. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it's like, I have no clue. Like, let's just say, like, you had a good time. Like, your definition of a good time and my
Yeah.
definition of a good time, two wildly different things.
No, for
And what you
sure.
think
Yeah,
is
yeah.
good and like happiness, like, these are all like so subjective that ultimately, on some level, they can be like, they're a bit meaningless on some level. Right. And let's just say you had a terrible time, but we 10x your income. Like, did it actually matter?
Yeah. The way he framed it though, like, and also too, like the way like his tonality came across, it didn't feel like a smokescreen. It felt genuine of like, hey,
Well,
like I do want to actually
here's the
know
thing.
someone's experience.
When I say it's a smokescreen,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is it's not that they're not being genuine. It's like that's not the heart of the issue. Because would they need to know somebody's subjective experience if it was half the price? Probably not.
Yeah.
So the real issue is the money. And
Yeah.
it's like and it's like it's the real issue is their money and their view of money and their view of how they have to make decisions when they are dealing with that type of money. So it's like for him, like let's just say, like if he was legitimately making 120 a year,
Hmm.
$15,000 is like, oh, I need to do these things to justify it for myself of spending $15,000, right? That's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
happening. But
Yeah.
ultimately, it's like he doesn't need to do these things. Like this is a box he's putting on himself, a box he's
Hmm.
putting himself in that is not required. Right. So
Yeah.
he's putting
Yeah.
extra restrictions on himself just because he's never done something before. And then that's your job to show him, like, hey, bro, you're putting yourself in a box that actually doesn't make sense. Like at the top of his head, it makes sense, right? Because he hasn't thought deeply about this, but you walk him through that thought process, right? You push him, you show him, like, hey, ultimately, this doesn't mean anything. The real issue is the money. And then once you're on the money, that's when you really dial things in, right? And you just smack them around, get them across the line.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything like, okay, because I like, yes, on some level, this does need to make sense in your mind too. So
Yeah. No,
that way
no,
you
no. So
can
it
walk somebody
does.
through that process.
It does. It does. Like my only thing though is that like, and again, it's no disrespect to any Indians on the call or anything, but like because their
Mhm.
frame is so strong, like what they have a habit of doing, even when you
Mhm.
ask intelligent questions that will logically make sense, they have a habit of just completely avoiding the question and just holding
Yes.
down to their frame.
Yeah, that's why you need to really push back, hammer. hard. Okay. Like
Okay.
that's the thing. So if you notice, like again, during the role play, like there's times where both of us were like
We're
speaking for like
talking.
15 seconds. But the thing is,
And I was trying to
I'm
implement what they do a little bit, which is just like you'll ask a really intelligent question that if they answer, they will be falling into your frame, and they know that, and so they just intentionally just avoid the question
yeah.
completely.
So if you notice, I'm not going to stop talking.
Yeah,
Period.
I noticed you. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So it's like
yeah, yeah,
I'm not giving you the ground, bro.
yeah. But
So it's
their frame is fucking strong as well, though, and like it can get to almost like a borderline shout match.
yeah. Well, it's
Like
like
they don't
ideally
have
we
any sort of like gauge of what like
uh-huh.
uncomfortability means. Like they will just continue going
Yeah.
like a fucking train at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. There are going to be a bit of like cultural differences with that, but like again, like in objection handling. Now,
Yeah.
on some level, in discovery, you need to be able to earn that. So when I'm going into objection handling, like I have the leverage, I've built the authority, right? And they fall more into my frame. So it makes it a lot easier. So we
Yeah.
don't want to just like start off with objection handling, like really ratcheting up and smacking these fuckers around.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
we do that in discovery first. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
So it's like just with anything is you teach people how to treat you.
Hmm.
Okay. You teach people how to go about the conversation. So if you've allowed them in the conversation either to evade questions or anything like that in discovery, it will bite you in the ass in objection handling.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's something to just always keep in mind too.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And again, when we're talking about not believing them, it's like, yeah, they might believe it themselves, and that's fine.
Hmm.
But the real problem is the money they make, how they view money, and like being able to make a decision. Because when you're thinking about it logically, they want to jump through all these fucking hoops. But if they're making 5 times the amount of money they're making right now, would they feel required to do the exact same thing?
They wouldn't. They
Yeah.
wouldn't.
So
Yeah.
it's a money thing. It's the amount of money and it's the money they're making. That's what the real problem is. That then tells them, oh, I should do all these things. So if you sit there and it's like you try to handle all these different things, right? And it's like, dude, like they'll tell you some wild shit that you've never heard before. Right. So it's like, it's not really about knowing how to handle all these different things. And like, it's just about like being able to push them to the side and get to the real
Hmm.
heart of it. And if you notice, like in the conversation, like I immediately, like I push it to the side, I push you into like,
Yeah.
hey, how are we actually going to know
Yeah.
what's really holding
Yeah.
you back? I always
Yeah.
get to that point. Like that's really all I'm getting to. So it's like I don't need to know
Yeah.
all these different frames.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
know how do
Yeah.
I funnel all these different objections into the 2 to 3 things that I
Yeah.
handle really, really well. And then once you're
You're good
in, you're not
at
getting out.
you're good at having a demeanor of like none of that shit matters. This is what it's really about, and just focusing on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you buy into it, like, dude, you're fucking trapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then like, and then that's all we're talking about. So then it's like, if I push you into this other objection, get you to buy in, that's the actual objection, and then I handle that objection, then you're cooked.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it becomes objection whack-a-mole as well. Like
Yeah.
they just
Dude,
keep throwing
they'll
out
keep,
different bullshit at
yeah.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
about it like, hurdling, bro. Like they'll keep on just putting hurdles in front of you. Like you'll
Yeah.
fucking like jump over them,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's how you know, like those objections aren't actually the real thing,
Yeah.
right? Just so you know it, right? It's like when you handle it, like the reason you know it's not the real thing, you handle it, then there's another one, there's another, which means we're not actually getting to the core issue. It's like you're
Mhm.
allowing them to kind of just like just throw weird smoke screen at you. It's like, no,
Mhm.
push the smoke screens to the side, get to the actual heart of the matter, which is either money, time, or value. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.